Yo, 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 yo. So I'm just trying to clean things up. So busy, super busy here. No time for anything. Super busy. Super busy. I'm too busy to be here. But we can be here for an hour. I need a break. I need a mug. Where do I get a mug? I'd like a mug. There's no mugs. Oh. Mug. Dirty mug. Oh, I've got those. Unironically. These are from Riot Games. This is from literally the bar at Riot, the Bilgewater bar. I've got those. Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, and I gotta fix my setup a little bit. Oh. I am deathly tired. And we gotta do a little bit of this, and then call it for the night. We gotta paint some walls tomorrow and put up a bookshelf and a bunch of other shit. Finish putting stuff in storage. Vacuuming, cleaning. Lots to do, man. Lots to do. Okay. Hang on. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, better. A little bit better. A little bit better. Okay. This shit over here. Okay, finally. Thank God. All right. Let's see. Oof. Man, we're almost in the summer here. I guess we're already kind of there, and it fucking sucks. Because now you gotta bust out the air conditioner. And make sure you don't sweat to death. Which is never a good thing. Every winter, you're like, I wish we had spring. And then every spring, you're like, oh, I wish I had winter. It's pretty miserable. It's the gamble of the season. Especially with all this fucking global warming and shit. There. Yeah, humidity is really bad. Opposite in Australia right now, I'm getting freezing at night now. That's good, man. I want that. I don't want to go to bed with, like, windows open and burn alive. I want the heat to go away. I miss the cold air. The cold air is just a free air conditioner. Hi, I'm new. Hello, sir. A free air conditioner is awesome. Maybe not too much of it, because everyone gets sick of, like, the weather eventually. Yeah, these are gyrocopter blades. Exactly, yeah. 2 days ago, I think, here, it was fucking awesome. I had all the windows open, and we were really, like, just chilly, and it was great. And maybe it's just me doing so much today, and this is, like, the second time I've sat down to do anything since the first stream, which was this morning. But, yeah, I can't stand the heat. It's a little shite. No, I didn't. I didn't even realize there was a new song. I should probably give it a listen. I don't really like Powerwolf as much as I used to, but they're fine. They are an okay band. They're good. Ain't nothing wrong with them. Yo, yo. Okay, the goal of this stream is to finish this. Finish that. Not the whole thing, because there's no way that's going to happen, but Dave, thank you, buddy. Dave, thanks, man. I need to glue this motherfucker together. Last stream? No, we're still working on it right now. I've got a lot of it built in subassemblies. But we're still working on a couple of parts. It's very slow going, but I'm at least gluing things together. No, I play all of it. Or I have played all of it. I've played... what was the second last edition? What's the new AOS edition? 4? So I must have played 3, 2, and 1. Obviously haven't played the new one. 40K, I played anything from, like... whatever the fuck that green... Like, I think it was... Let me see. I gotta go look it up. I don't know what edition of 40K it was. 40K wasn't my favorite. I played a bit of it, but... 4th edition 40K was when I got into 40K. It's 4th edition. It had, like, the hammer. I think it was, 2006, 7, I think, for 40K. Ish, around that time. 2005, maybe? I don't know. And then fantasy since, like, realistically, 7th. Playing the game is fun, but over the years I've realized that building for the game is not fun. Trying to force yourself to build an army for the sake of, like, just playing the game is not really intriguing. Like, intriguing in the way that if you power build it and you, like, forget the mold lines and you hastily paint it, it's kind of lame. Oh, yeah, 40K is very simple. Yeah, for sure. Same thing with AOS. Last time I played 40K was at the start of the last edition. Or the edition before that, I believe. I just have no willpower to do anything 40K just because it's not my biggest interest. Not anymore. I mean, even with Age of Sigmar, like, everything is very accessible right now in gaming. And I think as a company, that's kind of what you want is accessibility. Because if your games are unplayable, who the fuck's gonna play it? You know, like, if you gotta sit there and learn 9,000 rules, nobody wants to sit there and do that, man. In an age of TikTok and YouTube Shorts, no way. You gotta go get Grandpa Joe from, like, the 15th century to come back from the grave to want to do that. Oh, they still do Star Wars minis. That's still pretty common right now, actually. They've got a bunch of games Star Wars related. Oof. Fucking hell. The craziest thing about these fucking lights in this camera is the camera is hotter than the lights. I don't know if that's normal, but this shit's gonna burst into flames and kill me. And if that doesn't, then the fire on this fucking plastic is gonna give me some great fumes. Yummy. Hell no, this doesn't look like a dwarven axe. Hell no, this is like a Arabian scimitar. It's a rune skimmy. Probably LEDs to the temperature camera you're using. I'm Egyptian and I don't have one. Send it. Okay. I think those are illegal. Maybe not. Maybe you could just run around the streets with one. It's like instead of a knife, you just kind of bust out your scimitar. Pretty sure if you busted out a scimitar here, you'd probably get arrested. I have absolutely no idea. Okay, I gotta lower this, man. My arms are like dead. Too much stuff to do today. Oops. You know what I need? I know what I fucking need. Ooh. Jesus. Okay, way better. And it's sweaty as shit. So good. Or it's sweaty in here. Because I gotta go open the door. And Ivana's out there, so I don't want to, like, show her because she doesn't want to be seen. If Ivana gets shown in the VOD for half a second, the VOD's gone. Deleted. You gotta delete it! Oh my god! They saw my face! Oh my god! Delete it! I was gonna sleep, but now you're back. We're chilling. This is hard work. Look at me. I've got my wristbands on, which is actually so much more comfortable. I'm a hardworking man. How's tricks? What does that mean? If only mold lines were not a thing. A workshop, yeah, workshop. Santa's workshop. I've been searching high and low for that figurine in New Zealand. NZ is New Zealand, right? Figurine. This thing, the gyrocopter. I mean, this thing is pretty readily available now. You're looking for a dwarf miner. Well, dwarf miners aren't even out yet. Oh, you're the guy. Oh, the dwarf miner. Oh, the Weta miner. Yeah, it's sold out everywhere, bro. It's gone. It's way gone. It's so sought after. People, like, you're never going to find it. No, it's gone. It's the only thing I'm missing outside of, like, maybe an art print that I've wanted for a while now, for a couple of years. But, like, it got sold out initially. And I think 3 to 4 years ago, I found one on eBay for maybe like $100. That's why I'm trying to find it. Trust me, I've been searching for things for years, and I've never seen them. Or I've only seen them once, and I didn't pull the trigger, and I'm, like, regretting it later on. You know, like, again, the Dwarf Miner, there was, like, 4 of them on eBay at one point by a guy in China. And it wasn't even, like, a knockoff product. A lot of Weta products make it to China, or they're just manufactured in China and then sent out. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And they just have so many leftovers, so I had my chance. I just didn't pull the trigger. It's not the same. You can never replace something with a 3D print. It's just not even comparable. But you could make your own. I'm only missing the Weta Dwarf Miner and the front gates of Erebor print. Those are the 2 that I want, and I cannot find them for the life of me. It's like, if you think you found it, you didn't find it, trust me. It's that fucked up. Well, they're called layer lines. Essentially what it is that when a 3D print is made, it has to be built up from multiple layers, and multiple being thousands of layers. And depending on the height of the layers is kind of why you're seeing those lines. There are really good printers out right now that you don't see any lines. Very expensive printers, but resin printers still leave lines. They do. If you're talking like PLA typically leaves lines just because like that's how it is. It's just cheapish. But resin printers, you can still have layer lines, but with the more expensive latest ones, not really. Painting at least. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, paint will add another layer of material above the lines, so it kind of like fills them in. But I think for the most part, when it comes to 3D printing, my gripe is that I prefer official over 3D printed just because I like the look of the official stuff more. Like, to me, 3D printing is its best when you create your own stuff and print your own stuff. That's at least how I view it. It's not that it sucks when, you want to print a whole army and, replace or proxy models with it. There's nothing wrong with that, but I prefer the original GW sculpts and then maybe like, custom bits to go with them. That's just what I prefer, which is just purely based on aesthetic choice. Well, GW prints, they 3D print their masters. So, like, the way it works is that you sculpt something in a program, you then 3D print it, you completely clean it up, or your printers are so expensive and so amazing that you don't have to do any cleanup, which is probably what they're working with, right? Like these big industrial fucking super expensive, super high end resin printers. And from that, they cast them and then they just mold them. So most of the things you see today are initially 3D printed. Games Workshop products are 3D printed. Yes, super expensive printers, tens of thousands, like more than that, maybe hundreds of thousands. Stuff that just isn't available to like mass market, Do you know where Serbia is? It's on Earth. I do know where it is. It's on planet Earth. I mean, no one's going to be, unless you're a business making millions of dollars a year, you would never need a printer like that. I want to get back into 3D printing, but I just need I need to downsize a lot of the shit I have, and then I need to make a dedicated space for printing. Because I want to go sculpt my own bits. I want to sculpt my own bits, and I want to print my own bits, because it's just endless possibilities. It is fun, but it's very time consuming. The number one thing I need to print are shields. I'm going to try and make proper dwarven size shields, because the shields you get with most of the kits are very undersized. They just don't look nice. They're too dinky, too small. Yeah, I've seen those. 3D printed like bricks. They kind of like interlock together. I mean, people 3D print guns. Like 3D printers are banned in certain countries because the government has found that people fucking print like literal firearms or parts of firearms. No, I'm not dirty. I may look dirty, but I'm not dirty. I may look nasty, but I smell like a flower. One covered in shit out of the gutter. But a flower's a flower. Switches for Glocks is a big thing. Yeah, it's insane. That's what I'm saying. It's like you are not allowed to use 3D printers. And then I'm over here trying to like replicate made up shields in dwarven iconography, and my shit gets banned. It's like, what? Let a man print dwarves. Send me a kiss? Send me a fucking subscription. What do you think? This economy is like handouts? You're crazy. Dude, inflation fucked me so bad, I can't even give kisses. It's not like. It's not. It's, I'm trying to come up with a word. It's not viable in this economy. There you go. It's not a good business decision to be handing out freebies. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, I think we glue this. No, it tells you. I mean, there's instructions. If there wasn't instructions, you'd be kind of fucked. It's just I've looked at this kit for like a week straight now. Or not even a week straight. I haven't been here for a week. For a couple of days. Okay, glue. The glue. Oh my god, he did it. It's viable in this economy. Give me one sec, buddy. Temple, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, dude. Thank you, good sir. Hang on. One more left. Well, I kind of fucked it up a little bit. Just trying to clean it up. My brain does not like how this looks. I can clean it up. It's just slightly problematic looking. Minor inconvenience. I think what I'll do is just try and, like, gap fill this portion anyways. Nah, it's just annoying. It's not hard, it's just inconvenient because I have a brain problem when it comes to minor inconveniences. It's really easy to do. It's just sometimes you can overglue things and there's just too much. That's it. I think overall it's pretty good. Okay, I think I got it. Whatever you do, don't overglue. It looks perfect. All right, we gotta clean the other one. Come back to this later. Nightmare glue. Super thin glue is so shit. Super thin glue can be problematic. Super thin super glue is like so satanic. I don't know how you use it. It's a nightmare. Like super thin Tamiya is fine. Super glue not so much. Okay, that's good for now. Yo 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 yo. Sorry, I'm like very consumed with not fucking this up. I hate that my brain sees little problems that don't really exist when you paint the mini, but like in the creation step and like building this thing, it's nightmare fuel. Scraping a little bold line for 3 years. Yeah, like, it's bad. We need sandpaper that isn't fucked up. Maybe this will work, anyways. Nope. This is Ailstorm. And it sounds basically, I mean, Rumahoy and Ailstorm are kind of like one and the same band at this point. My only problem with sandpaper right like this is that it just keeps breaking. It keeps breaking down with water. But like it's extremely useful. Emery boards? Uh the problem is I mean, I've got some. It's just kind of easier for me, I suppose. Because you can cut it to size and then like shape it the way you want. I know they're good though. Very good. This is like archaic technology. The old ways. You can. I'd have to go dig mine out. I think for the most part, I've got so much sandpaper. I've got like 4 tubs of sandpaper on my desk. Well, I mean, I've even got this shit, which, like, sanding sponges and whatnot, but I haven't used any of them. Yeah, yeah. Any sort of tool that makes the job easier is always good. Less effort. I've just been building minis with, like, sandpaper for so long that switching up the workflow is a little bit weird for me. I'm very stagnant. Change is bad. Can't get so fine with the boards. What, like a fine sanding? Or the grit itself isn't very fine? Because for plastics, I mean, you typically want very fine grains, obviously. The smoother, the better. If it's metal minis and shit like that, like, that's not a bad thing to have more abrasive stuff, but just glued now. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, that sounds like so much work, though, for, like, for one thing, you know? Get really fine grit sandpaper, making minis smoother. Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. That's just what I've learned over the years. Like, I think at a point I never even used sandpaper or sanded minis, and now I'm just kind of always using it. It's useful. If you're really anal about how your shit looks, you kind of need to sand your stuff. If you don't care, you don't have to, and that's great. And I wish more people wouldn't care, because, like, sitting here for 3 hours scraping plastic isn't fun. It's just a tedious thing you gotta do. Don't know what is easier to hold used to. Yeah. It's I think for the most part, if you're using it, um, and you're kind of comfortable with it, it's like you don't really want to swap techniques, you know? It's like things do work for different people. Everyone kind of has their preferred like workflow, different like blade handles and whatnot, certain grits of sandpaper. It's whatever people are comfortable with. Well, I haven't played that game in 2 days right now. I'm just too busy. I don't have a lot of time to do anything, so that's kind of why I'm streaming here. Takes 10 minutes and that'll last me months. That's something. See, I could never do that. I'm chill with my little sandpaper that I get from like the dollar store or like Home Depot. Tamiya extra thin. I think I do prefer something thicker, personally, just because Tamiya can kind of like run everywhere and then fuck things up. I like using it in tandem with thicker glue. Put a sprue right on the point I'm supposed to glue, like a sprue, like a gate. Yeah, it's pretty shitty. Tips, tricks, the things that work for me, or the yeah, exactly. It's good to sometimes bounce ideas as to like what works and what doesn't for them. Like for me, I'm using like probably the most expensive dog shit, you know, blade handle, but it works the best for me. It's very weighty. It feels good. I've used other ones and they feel too cheap. Like this thing is pretty solid. Everyone has their own way of doing things, and you know, you can learn from other people, which is cool. Yeah, I think I can actually glue this down. Okay. Yeah, these are the gyrocopter blades. It's the bigger set of them. There's 2 sets. So I basically have to repeat this whole thing on a smaller couple of blades. You gotta remember to not put so much glue. Like... Yo, 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 yo. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, hello. I think what I'll do is probably just, like, sand over it all or something, put, like, filler. Somebody did say that, too. I agree. It looks a little bit like Draven's Axe, yeah. Major, thank you, buddy. Thanks, man. I probably will be painting it on stream, but it's going to take me a while because I can only be here for about 2 weeks and I have to leave. And there's no way I'm beginning it within 2 weeks because I have a lot of other shit to do. I would like to try and airbrush the hull of this thing because it is very flat. And I think if you're going to paint gyrocopters, you should probably airbrush them just because there's so much space. And typically when it comes to flat panels, airbrushing is just way better. It goes on so much smoother. Way better. Oh, you know what I need for this? I need me poker, lad. The poker. I think what I'll do is just probably try and putty a lot of this shit, even if you can't even see it. I wonder what it would look like with paint, though. TamerCon. Now you just got to go get TamerCon in person. You got to travel back to like 2000 and whatever when he came out and get him. You have to build a time machine to go meet the man and his miniature. Trying to see the detail. Yeah, you can't really see what I'm doing. I mean, not that it matters. It's very subtle. I basically overglued something, and I'm trying to rectify it. Just so I don't have to think about it, because it will keep me up at night. And I will be here for 3 hours scraping it until it's perfect, which has, like, long-lasting problems on me. I'd do that too. It's just frustrating. I don't know. I don't like doing this, just because it takes up so much time. But I just want to make sure it's good. Like, when you put paint on this thing, you won't even see it, to be honest, but... I did it. Mostly did it. Scopes that you can see on desks. Oh, I know. You can use, like... I can see it perfectly fine here, and honestly, you're never going to... Unless you're painting something for competition, you're never going to scrutinize it this hard, which is this is not for a competition. So I think if you were to do stuff like that, then yes, maybe use, like, magnifiers. Anything distance like this is fine, though. Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, you don't need any of that stuff. I mean, there's so many, like, hobby tools that will... They're nice, but you don't need them. They're like weird gimmicks. 3 and 26 and 22 minutes. Welcome to that game, yeah. It's normal. Okay. We're done that. So now we gotta glue this. Put this down. Oh, shit. Cancer! I've got cancer! Not in game! Not in game! Jesus. How the fuck did it get out of the bottle, though? Hmm. No. There was a bit of excess glue, and I essentially scraped away the glue. I scraped away the glue, and I redid the, groove, basically. Okay. There we go. Triforce. Complete. 3,333 gold. Yeah, yikes. I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be huffing this shit at all. That is not good. Cool. I think I'm done listening to this album like 30 times in a row. I hate that I'm unironically listening to this band again. I hate that I'm doing this. What? Yeah, 1 sec. Okay, I gotta go for like 1 second. The woman needs me. Oh god, I can't tell you, it's too embarrassing. Genuinely too embarrassing. Okay, I gotta go see Ivana for 2 minutes. I will be right back, okay? BRB, folks. BR Bizzle. BRB. I'm coming, woman. God damn it, I'm coming. What do you want? What? I'm back. Ugh. This woman. Okay. I just played some Vermintide 2. It's a good game. I think the only problem is it's super repetitive, which I'm saying that as I scrape a mold line for 30 hours straight, so, like, you know, I can't say much. But, you know. Okay. What do you think of Thrones of Decay? Pretty good. I mean, I don't play campaign, but I like it overall. It's cool. A lot of fun units. Okay. We need to work on this engine. This engine needs to be finitoed. I think we're missing, like, 2... Hey! The fuck? I need to glue this together. And I believe there's no other parts that go to this together. So we have to glue the engine together. Yep. This goes together, and then there's parts that connect to it. Cool. So right now, realistically, I should be gluing this together. I think what I'll even do for this one is try to, like, gap fill literally everything like a psychopath. Because I might just throw this one on a shelf, considering I'm taking so much time with it, so maybe I'll fuck with it a bit more. Okay. So we need to glue this together with minimal glue showing. So I actually don't think You know what's weird? They added the fucking clatter gun to the gyrocopter, and I think clatters are kind of like the better option right now, from what I've seen. You could magnetize them. It's the same exact vehicle for like all three gun options. Because they've got the brimstone, the steam gun, and the clatter gun, but the clatter gun traditionally was like a gyro bomber thing. So, I don't know. If it's going to be on a shelf, I'll most likely do the steam gun because that's just kind of the classic gyrocopter setup. If I was to play, probably clatters. Couple of clatter guns. Okay, I need thicker glue. The clatters, laddie. Man, GW glue fucking blows ass. The clatter gun. There we go. I do believe that's well enough glue. Torch the needle? Yeah, I've huffed enough toxic fumes, though. I don't want to do that. I don't want to burn this fucking thing. Yeah. The less toxic fumes, the better. At this point in my life, I'd wish to live a few more years. Yeah, I suppose so. It's true. Are you fucking serious? Uh... Yo, Funko, thank you, buddy. Thanks, man. I just realized I am gluing things I probably shouldn't be gluing. Unfortunately. Yep. A gyrocopter. I think I just want to, pretty sure in every game that's ever played right now for Dwarves, gyrocopters are like an auto-include for every list. Just for like shenanigans up the field. But outside of that, they're just cool. They are? Yeah. People run like 2 to 3 in a 2K list. 6+ gyros? Oh my god. That's way too much. I could never do that. How much are they? Like 30 points each? They've got to be dirt cheap to just kind of like suicide run up the field and block charges and stiff people. Middle of the map. $60? Yeah. Yeah, they're dirt cheap for sure. I gotta see them in action one day. It's been too long. I just take way too long to build. Oh yeah, for sure. Even in like it's weird how Slayers don't have mobility and are absolute dog shit because if anything in this army should have like the ability to move, it should be people who are naked and a literal helicopter. I mean, actually, you know what? I wonder how miners are. Because I'm pretty sure miners get like Vanguard, or they get to like pop out wherever, I think. Well, because they don't. So dwarves and scrap, I mean, they only make the best and use the best. So when it comes to when dwarves want to make something, there's no way they would go to like an orc encampment, take everything and like melt it down and use it because they'd see it as like inferior or already like tainted, I suppose, like using orcish stolen goods for their own like betterment. I don't think that's a big thing for them. They're too like prideful in what they do. Yeah, precision and getting the job done. Getting the job done the first time and not looking back. Master crafters. What do you mean, like runesmiths or rune lords or like master engineers? Well, Zufbar has a lot of the engineering stuff, right? Like if you want to see anything cool come out of the dwarves, you look at Zufbar. Zufbar. I made this cool thing, it works, and if it works, it works, so no touching it again. I mean, that's kind of how they are, right? It's like they need dwarves are very much about um what's the word? It's a very specific word. Reliability. Dwarves are always about reliability. They don't make anything shoddy. They're not going to sit here and like pump out, war machines on the go that aren't tested for centuries. They don't even want to use like ponies for anything other than like carrying war machines to battle, and then they just sit there and carry them back to the hold. So, yeah, I don't think it would be very wise to use things they're not really accustomed to. I don't know how many times it roll misfires with my dwarves. Yeah. Well, I mean, can't you I don't know how good that rune is. I think it's like what, the rune of accuracy or something? You get like the one reroll for 15 points. Artillery right now is dog shit. Unless it's like an organ gun, I think it's crap. From what I've seen, at least, because I haven't played games, but I've watched a few. And artillery is very botched. Doesn't seem good. You kind of just like miss everything, or it doesn't do enough damage. Rune of forging, yeah, it's one of those. It's like a 15-point reroll for your artillery dice. Or you take an engineer, and he sits there and I think there was a rule with him. You get to like reroll something. Because I do want to play. It's just right now I don't have time. So I just like watching things. It's easier. It's really weird how like you would have an engineer. Like there was a good point made a while ago. Like how can you not use the ballistic skill of the engineer, right? When using war machines, or kind of that, like, engineers don't do enough for war machines, because, like, the engineers are the ones who made them, right? Like, it's kind of bizarre. Or rather, they make them and then are able to use them the most effectively. Yeah. Because, like, dwarves are traditionally a gunline army, so it's very weird that, like, their shooting would be kind of shoddy, especially when you've got the guy who literally had tested this thing, created it, you know, did whatever with it, right? Just be able to fire it like any other Joe Blow. Nah, this glue's not really going anywhere. 40k sisters, nah. The dwarven organ gun. I think that's the best I'm gonna get it. Fucking too much glue. $50 to bring a guy to entrench your war machine and rerolls is entrenchment is so garbage, though. It's like, who cares? Like, what artillery is going to want to shoot at artillery, in my opinion? It's like, if you've got big things running up the field, I don't think you're going to be throwing shots into, like, a piece of artillery, personally, but maybe I'm wrong. I love artillery. It's so cool, but it's not very reliable. Mimi from Drew Carey. I have no idea who that is. It's the elusive dwarven women. They've never been seen. But they're there. They did make a few dwarven women models. Like, I think 2. They had the cheerleader, and then they had Helgar from the Grudge of Drong. And I think that's it. Actually, they did do some for the Fire Slayers, which looks sick. You had only 1? It was probably Helgar. Not many people have that Blood Bowl one. It's very bizarre looking. Kit bashing some dwarf artillery to look like the anti-projectile thing from the... I mean, you could literally just buy one for like $3,000 because it's Forge World. But yeah, you could do a bunch of stuff. Lady Slayers and the Vulcan Fire. Yeah, they're really good. They need... I can understand why dwarven women aren't really a thing in fantasy, but Age of Sigmar is a completely different thing. Where, like, you know, having children and having just more dwarves in general is a thing. In fantasy, they did have actual, like, I think they were called Priestesses of Valaya. And I believe it was just a dwarven woman who had, like, aged past a couple hundred years. They're cool. It's just, like, for a race that's so dead and only dying every single, like, day, like, the dwarves don't take W's, period. They don't have enough births. They don't have enough ground. They don't have their holds. They don't have, like, the capability to keep up with the times. It kind of makes sense to have, like, the women protected, but I never tried Age of Sigmar. It's fun. I'm not, like, big on the lore of Age of Sigmar, but I like the minis. Or certain minis. Some of them are alright. Well, the Imperium is, like, vast. Billions of people can die daily and no one would bat an eye, which is what happens in 40k anyways, right? For dwarves, it's like one dwarf for every tens of thousands of greenskins, right? Like, they don't have the numbers to keep up with that, and they don't have enough children to really keep doing that, right? Okay, this needs to be done. Leagues of Votann clones. That is true. Yeah, the Votanners are funky. But that's very 40k of them. That's kind of the reason I don't really like Votann. Like, 40k is cool. Leagues of Votann are cool. The original squats are cool, but like it makes dwarves seem, I guess, less like wholesome. It's very 40k, very futuristic, you know, like you do what you have to survive in a galaxy full of war, but like taking people and cloning them and then since birth kind of having like a job assigned to you based on whatever clone skin you got, right? Like thicker fucking hide, okay, you're doing this, bigger muscles, you're doing this type of deal. Like your job is declared the second you're born. And then you're just like, you're just a, I don't know, man, you're a clone. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't feel very, there's something about it that doesn't hit like fantasy dwarves do. Like, it's a little weird, but again, it's 40k, so like it makes sense. But I prefer a little bit of heart. 100% agree with that. Yeah, exactly. It's like, are you even off fighting for your people or just there for like minerals and shit? Because I mean, well, the Votann are like, dwarves in fantasy won't go out and just start conquering stuff. That's not what they do. But the Votann, if they see something like a planet that they want to go harvest, you know, hey, you guys got to move. We need shit here. You're not going to move? Okay, we're going to kill you all. Right? Like, it's very 40k, but for that reason, I don't like it as much. AI sentience with them, but they're treated like servants. No, they treat the robots like actual kin, like brothers and sisters. They treat them as equals. But even then, it's like, I don't know. It's a little funky. It's again, it's very 40k, very grim, very like dystopian, as is 40k anyways. Approach the machinery like a lifting thing will get damaged, and literally everyone rushes to help and check on Kevin the lifting machine. Well, yeah, of course. Um, it's just there's something about hearing dwarves having like millions and millions and millions of people. It's I don't know, man. It's like you can compare them to the Imperium. It's like yes, sending billions of guard to go die on a planet means nothing, but like the Leagues of Votann have shit tons of people to do that with as well. Maybe not billions, but you know they can afford to lose people. Whereas dwarves in fantasy can't afford to lose anyone. So like you know their plights even worse when they get into trouble. Are they greedy? Well, of course. They want that gold. Pretty sure in every setting, if there's a dwarf, they're greedy. Period. Like, you're there for the gold, you're there for the minerals, and you're done. For the sake of fantasy, though, and I mean even like with Tolkien stuff, I'm pretty sure all dwarves have some sort of like gold sickness, gold curse, to where they just get like kind of almost put in a trance when around it. They fixate on it way too much. And it does get them killed. You know, sometimes they won't even go eat. They'll just die. Yeah. The dragon sickness. I mean, it's cool. It's just, it is what it is, you know. Obviously not a good thing, but when your life is spent in a mine digging for like precious gems that you're just gonna go hoard in a mountain, like what do like people fuck with the dwarves just because the dwarves have more than them. That's literally it. Right? Like, why else would you want to go fuck with a person who doesn't even see the light of day and lives in a mountain? You know, like, that's just what it is, man. It's a realistic flaw. But it's like, it's really, really bad. It's extremely bad. Like, I'm pretty sure there are people in this world who would go off and open their vault in their, 15th mansion and look at, like, all the gold they've got. But, like, again, dwarves will literally do that and then die. They will die in the process. They'll be, like, again, I talked about it yesterday, but there was, in the Gotrek and Felix books, they fight a giant dragon, and they're accompanied by a bunch of slayers, and one of them sees, the dragon's gold that he's been hoarding, and he's essentially put into a trance, and he runs into the fucking pile of gold while everyone's fighting a giant dragon, and he's like throwing it around and jumping, and oh, I love gold, and the dragon just stomps on him, and he's dead. Like, it's pretty bad. Jutsu, yo buddy, hello sir. A raid! Hello everybody. But yeah. We come from Mexico! I would like to go to Mexico one day. Isn't it always warm? Yeah, Funko, take it easy, man. Peace, buddy. Scrooge McDuck. That's kind of what they are, yeah. They just want to hoard it. They don't want to give it away. I wonder, you know what? Am I scraping this? No, actually. No, I think this is correct. With how this thing is built. Oh, it's the housing. The housing goes around the engine bit. I feel like I'm scraping something you're not even going to see. Okay. Let's put this in here. So it's supposed to go like this, and then this thing sits in here. You kind of see it, but not really. I don't think it even matters. I mean, the problem is their afterlife is kind of real, and they will never sit with, like, their ancestor gods. Or I guess in this case, Grungni, right? That's kind of the problem. It's like, your one job now, because you fucked up in life, is to, like, get out there and do something honorable and make a name for yourself, you know? Like, well, I guess for those you've wronged, right? Make amends. And if you don't, and you get crushed by a fucking dragon, like, your soul is... It ain't sitting at that table. Okay, I wonder how this... Why does this not work? This is so bizarre. It, like, goes in one way and then doesn't fit. Maybe it's just supposed to be like that. Like this. That is true. A chronicler. Who doesn't want a chronicler? Wake up every morning and your deeds are written down. Brushed teeth. The remaining few. Took a shower in a river. Okay, I think for the most part, I should probably also glue this. Just want to try and... I'm not sure if OCD is the word for this, but it's some sort of mental illness, I swear, for me picking at this thing for 3 hours. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, Felix is a poet, right? Like, the dude's a writer. And if he kind of wanted to do anything with it, like, you could write a book maybe about, like, the tales of Gotrek and Felix. So, I guess you do get something out of it, right? Man, what did I do to this thing? Ay, ay, ay. My brain is going to be mush for a while. Just want to make sure this glue is kind of scraped out. Do the different gods ever fight each other? That's a good question. I would say I'm not entirely sure. I have no clue. Man. Whatever I did to this thing is very frustrating. If they did, I'm betting on Grimnir. Well, unfortunately, Grimnir right now in current canon is blown the fuck up. So I don't think you want to bet on Grimnir. Like... And even then, he's not really going to be doing anything in fantasy because he was stuck in actual hell. Let me out. Not sure who would be the strongest. I mean, Nagash is, like, kind of a big deal. There's so many, like... I mean, I guess all the minor gods don't matter in Warhammer if this is, like, who would win type of deal. How do I get this out of here? Oh, I fixed it. All it took was a little bit of persistence. I struggle to see any gods getting into a ring match with each other. They're most likely throwing hands. Yeah, yeah. For sure. And I mean, you can have, like, this is probably more of like an Age of Sigmar thing where the gods are more involved, I suppose. I'd have to check that exactly, but in fantasy, you never really saw gods. It was more of like they were always kind of talked about and, you know, worshipped and whatnot, but did you ever see them like directly do anything for the sake of like the Empire, the Dwarves? Um, Obviously the Chaos Gods getting their fucking like mutations on with their followers and whatnot, but I guess with Sigmar and the warrior priests, you know, chanting their hymns and whatnot, and then getting fucking all juiced up. I suppose that's a thing. Their battle hymns. I don't want to revisit the end times. Yeah. I need to get back into reading some stuff. It's been a while since I've really done anything fantasy. I'm not going to lie. I love the universe so much, but like I just don't have time. I'm trying to go back and like reread the stuff that I had read years ago, just because it's not as fresh in my mind as it used to be. First edition Beast of Nurgle or second? How many editions of Beast of Nurgle were there? The second one? Second version of a Beast of Nurgle? Well, I don't even. I don't know. I have no idea, man. That is a good question. I have no clue. I mean, at the end of the day, Nagash, literal death at this point. Your soul is owed to him. When you die, I mean, Nagash kind of owns you. I'm just trying to pick out a groove with the toothpick. There's 4. Okay, there's like the thing one. A very like mediocre one that was used in 40K. And then the plastic one that came after that. I don't think I've seen the second version. What are they called again? Beast of Nurgle sculpts. The latest one they came out with is pretty good. I have a weird liking to like the very first one. The first one just has so much charm and it's just fucking disgusting. Oh, the second one then, not the first one. I think it's the first version of the Beast of Nurgle. I've never seen this. Was it the second one? They're kind of ugly. Okay, the very first Beast of Nurgle is not my favorite. It's the second one. The second, third, and fourth. I've never seen that first one until now. I'm not really a fan. Or maybe it's the other way around? What's the one that has, like, all the eyeball suckers on his head? Is that the second edition? Or second version? Because you probably know more. First one is the bug-eyed worm. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Oh, okay. It's Lexicanum. I'm looking at Lexicanum right now. The goat, the first edition one. Second edition is the worst. Easily second edition Beast of Nurgle looks like dog shit. Well, not dog shit, but it doesn't look as good, you know, subjectively. It looks like kind of a less fun version of the first one. It's like they looked at the first one, or rather, they sculpted the first one and said, okay, a little bit goofy, but it has its charm. The second one is like a play on the first one, except it's more grotesque. The third one, in fourth edition, to me, is very bland, but I still like it more than the second one. And then the eighth edition one is fine. It looks good. Okay. You know, the beauty of Warhammer and sculpts is that everyone has their own, like, OG preferences. Some people hate old sculpts, but, like, I think they've got a lot of charm and it's fun to collect them. Sorry. Old Slayers. They had a few different types of Slayers. I'd say, like, let me just look this up just so I know I'm not spewing random shit. Element P. Okay, they don't have. Hmm. You know what I have? Wait, why am I looking this stuff up? Hang on, give me one sec. I've got the fucking old collector's guides. I completely forgot. I've got all of these books and I'm not using them. Okay. So this should be like fourth edition. Hang on. Why's the camera get fucked up? So there's like the fourth edition stuff. Kind of hard to open it up. These guys, these dudes, I don't know what edition they came out in. I'm going to say, well, probably just fourth edition, no? Like, these are not my favorite sculpts, personally, for the Slayers. Like, they're a little, like, look at this guy. Like, what the hell is that? Like, bro don't even have a neck. Like, they look, they're charming. Well, that's their biggest strength. They're charming, you know? But I think overall, as charming as they may be, they just don't even, like, compare to this. Right? Like, these are, oh my god, these are so much better. So much better. And they're charming. They look good. Yeah, I think these ones were a little bit past my time. I mean, they've even got the fucking, like, Goblin Hewer up in here, which was certainly not fourth. Long Drongs. The Imperial Dwarves. Are these Imperial Dwarves? Classic Dwarf Clansman with spear. These are not Imperial Dwarves. They just don't look... Yeah. God. I mean, you know, charming. Very charming. You know, I'd like to think that a good paint job could save some sculpts, but sometimes it just can't. It is what it is. You just got to accept the fate of them. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of, like, derpish-looking dwarf sculpts over the years. And, of course, it's all subjective as to, like, what you like and what you don't like. For me, the classic, single pose, like, or mono pose metal sculpts, outside of the Longbeards, because the Longbeards are great, and I guess some of the Slayer sculpts, a lot of the older ones don't do it for me. Like, these classic hammers, no, they don't do it for me. Like, bro, they've got feathers. What kind of dinky little warhammer is that? How are you going to guard your king with that thing? But yeah, again, charm. The Iron Breakers. Like, they just look like mini knights, you know? Not my thing, but I'm glad they kind of evolved into, like, their own aesthetic. For sure. Cool. With hope and a prayer. I mean, you can make things look really good despite the sculpt being a bit jank. Absolutely. Both anvils are in there. I've got the old anvil. You want to see it? Like the 4th edition anvil? This one? I love this thing, except it's just so stupid. Like, how do you even use this? He's wheeled into battle on an anvil, and he's, like, hammering it at his feet. Like, what are you doing? Does it just get channeled up through the staff? Yeah. I mean, again, classic, but, like, for me, I think the coolest part of this whole kit is probably just the anvil itself. Like, the actual design of it is really awesome. Michael Perry, the Perry brothers. Very good sculpts. Some subjectively not as much, but... Okay. It would be an absolute miracle to see that anvil come back as like a made-to-order versus the one that Thoric has, which that is coming back guaranteed. Because they are reaching into the vaults of like old school Warhammer and kind of bringing things back. Clash Royale. What? I'm dropping at least $1,000 on all the dwarf reprints. Oh, Jesus. Have fun with that. I'm not. I think the biggest thing for the made-to-order stuff is it's the age in which it came out. Like, the Dragon Company, not my thing. Dragon Company's going to be like a few $100 probably. Certain things are awesome, but like I'm more of the 2006-ish, like 7th edition launch of the Dwarves type of guy. all the new plastics or latest plastics. Some of the made-to-order, like Dwarf Lords and Thanes, are going to be good. I've already got them all, but those are the ones that I would go after if I was looking to buy anything. Because I'm not, like, super old hammer. Olge. For, is that post the first invasion of chaos? What? I want to try and... let's do something. What post? Poster? Oh, you're talking post. Sorry. I thought you were referencing like a poster or something. What's post first Chaos Invasion? A unit? I can't remember what I was talking about. And I'm actually delusional myself. I thought it was something else you were saying. My brain didn't register. Okay. Absolute garbage all day. I mean, I don't drink just because, like, I spend money on Warhammer instead periodically, so, like, drinking and Warhammer is kind of not a good duo. But, I mean, people do things, right? If you've got a weekend off, why not? It's not necessarily what I'm into, but if you are, that's cool. People have a bunch of different pastimes. I mean, for God's sake, some people are here watching me scrape a piece of plastic for like 3 hours straight. The same thing. Grimgor headbutted Archaon back to the Chaos Realm. You talking about the Storm of Chaos? Where he, like... well, actually, wasn't the Storm of Chaos retconned? Because that was when... was Grimgor in the Storm of Chaos? I have that book behind me, but I haven't read it in a while. I think they've retconned it for the end times. Because that was, like, the actual end times, and everything went wonky, right? It was, like, their take on what the world should have probably ended at, and it didn't do too well. It was a retcon, yeah. Everything was retcon for the end times, right? It's cool, though. I love that book. Volton. What a bro. Deathmaster Snicketch. What a bastard. story. Yeah, it was the Slayers of Karat Kadrin, right? And you got the Doom Seekers. I believe you also got Malachi's like Goblin Hewer and whatnot. That's cool. Yeah, I mean they're bringing it back now for the old world, right? Change your sleeping schedule. Yeah, my schedule's bad. We go to bed at about 6 a.m., 5 a.m., but then I wake up at like 10. The number one problem with a full Slayer army is that you don't have plastic Slayers, and so your core is as heavy as like a tire. So when you go to a Games Workshop, you're lugging in like half your car. I'm here to play with my Slayers. I don't like metal minis personally. I feel like a lot of the sculpts they've got through metal are amazing, some of the best ever. But working with metal minis is awful. I hated it growing up. Hated Finecast. Um, but the flavor of the units you get in metal are unmatched. Absolutely unmatched. All right. So I think what we're going to do here is try and melt some shit together. Yeah, right now my schedule is not very nice. I want it to be better, and it will get better, but I'm just so busy. This is the only time I've sat down today outside of like when I first streamed this morning. Um, way too much going on here. I'm going to pin them. Yeah, you can't pin everything. And if you did decide to pin stuff, it's like, Jesus, the amount of work sometimes it took. I remember I was doing a Middenheim army way back when, and I was using the Teutogen Guard, if you know those guys, Storm of Chaos stuff. And you'd essentially have to glue their hands. I can go get the book. I'll just show you. Ow! Ouch! So, like, as an example, Storm of Chaos. Where are the Teutogens? Our Ulrich. Okay. Black Sword, yo, buddy. Hello, sir. For the sake of these guys, their hammers came separate, so, like, you'd essentially glue it right at the wrist to both stumps. And, I mean, if you're going to be pinning the absolute shit out of, like, an entire unit of these guys, and you typically have, like, 20 plus, or just 20, yeah, a pretty big fucking nightmare. Not to mention when you're a kid and you've got like a pin drill and you're trying to like do this stuff. It's awful, but you know, you made it work and never went back to it again. Okay. Very slow. I'm a very slow builder, and I don't really have much time to get stuff done, so I'm kind of just in the midst of building a gyrocopter that's been in the works for probably a few months. Not gonna lie, I don't have much time. Or at least, rather, I haven't had much time in the past, like, few years to do any Warhammer, so come July, I'll be able to. That's the goal. Yeah. Everyone wants the hobby, but it is for fun. Everyone's got, like, grand ambitions of creating the sickest army and painting everything and building, you know, every single miniature in their backlog, and it's like, when do I have time for myself? Yeah, I mean, well, unless you're selling the work you're doing, and even then, it's kind of hard to sell Warhammer because it's very subjective and kind of expensive and time-consuming. People make it work. Oh, people do commission stuff, absolutely. I'm not really into that personally. I think for people who only want to play games and have a lot of disposable income, absolutely go the commission route. But as someone creative, the joy in Warhammer for me in terms of miniatures is creating stuff, making cool fucking things, customization. Like, the game is great. I've played the game for many years, but, like, the hobby for me is number one. The hobby and the lore and the universe. I've seen some commission work and merchant licenses for 3D models. Yeah, they do that. What are you talking about? Like commission work printing minis? Yeah, we're here for now. Printing, painting other people's models. Yeah, for sure. They do that. I mean, we this is not. Oh, actually, yeah, we did this. We did this. We printed and painted Alexander because when we purchased the STL, my girlfriend painted all this stuff. She did this. Um, it was the only time we had done anything like this. So I was into 3D printing, and she posted this on like Reddit when Elden Ring first came out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I want one! Can I get one?" And purchasing the STL, the guy was like, "You can make money off this up to like $3,000 or something." We did not make $3,000, but we painted about 10 to 15 of them and sold them, and people bought them immediately. Like, they loved it, so that's cool. So yeah, that's the only time we did that as like a pastime for fun thing as a hobby. Revived my old custom chapter. I used to play third edition. Now I'm writing their own lore. Yeah, that's cool. Stuff like that's awesome. It's always fun to just kind of come up with your own shit. You know, doesn't even have to be like lore friendly or anything. Because like if it's homebrewed, is it even gonna be lore friendly, right? But that's cool. I like making stuff up. It's fun. Although I do like the lore of this game. Like, I don't go in and like try to rewrite anything dwarf. I would never want to. Um, I don't need that. But yeah, homebrewed custom stuff is always cool. That looks awesome. Thank you, buddy. That was when Elden Ring had first come out. Otherwise, now I don't think anyone's really interested, just because, like, there's official ones, I'm sure. It tapped into the market when you could. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can glue this down. Jesus. What the fuck? My God. How do you get this off? Ow. Okay. So this needs to be glued. And I think what I'll do is just drop a bit of glue into that and then just, like, push it down. Because it won't move. I just want to see what way this goes. So... I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay. Oh, well, no, it will move. And I don't want it to move at all. Okay. Shit. Ay, ay, ay. Why? Ugh. It's kind of like dried up in there, but it doesn't matter if it's all in. Fucking hell. Ow! This is horrible. This is horrible. Actually, this is very bad. Okay. Hold on. We have a problem. There we go. No way. Nightmare fuel. Two. What a nightmare. Okay, it's in. Cool. The Engineers Guild won't be expelling me anytime soon, it seems. Thank God. I can already see it coming together to just fly up the board and be a nuisance and then die in like 2 turns, 1 turn. Cool. Okay, so there are a few more things I can glue. I just gotta finish them off. Good question. I haven't played the game. The rules. Someone posted. I was asking about rules for gyros recently. Toughness 5, 3 wounds. Toughness 5, 3 wounds. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3. Like, yeah, I would say an old, like, 3 wounds with toughness 5 is pretty obnoxious, right? 3 wounds. And when you've got so many of them kind of just flying around being annoying, yeah. Unit size 1 to 6. 60 points each. The most interesting thing they did for the gyros in Old World was they gave them the ability to take clatterguns. Not that it really matters, I would say, too much, but, like, traditionally, clatterguns were only on gyro bombers, if I'm not mistaken. And it's essentially just like a little rifle, like a repeater. Fires a bunch of shots. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, okay, fair. Yeah. People just run them and throw them up the field to be obnoxious, from what I've seen. Again, I haven't played a game of Old World at all. I don't think I will be in the coming years with how slow I'm building stuff, but it'd be nice. Not to mention, they do look cool. So, like, even if you build one and you don't want to use it, at least you've got it because it's cool looking. Because as much as, like, you might want to be building stuff for the game, eventually things aren't as good, so sometimes people don't want to use them anymore. You know, and they might want to kind of, like, swap up their list a bit and not run gyrocopter spam. Who knows? I actually have to be ending very soon, probably in about 15 minutes. I have to go get dinner at 1 a.m. Yeah. I mean, they are the most mobile unit the dwarves have, right? They can kind of just do anything as a supporting unit or kind of just holding units in place for a little bit, mucking them up in, like, the middle of the field. So you get your charge off instead of them. It's cool to see, like, if gyrocopters weren't useful, dwarves I don't think would be as fun. Because, like, you don't have mobility. You're just a bunch of dudes. So the only exotic thing in your army is going to be like a war machine, and even then that's not as exotic as like a literal helicopter, right? Dwarves need more flavor. They lack the ability to like bring things that aren't, you know, 30,000 years old. It's like people want to see the Rune Guardians. People want to see, barges. People want to see some more like Engineers Guild technology, right? That you typically don't see in games or anywhere. Do I know Reggie? His Warhammer content is very enjoyable. I do not know who that is. Is it a YouTuber? Dat boy, yo, buddy. A YouTuber? I don't think I've heard of him. I watch a couple of YouTubers, but it's not like I go to one person and watch all their content. I just kind of like browse around for whatever. Yeah. Well, isn't drilled is kind of a big deal, no? And you're kind of like forced to do it anyways. Like everyone pays for drilled. I swear to God, there's something about like playing old world or looking at anything old world, even fantasy, that I wish like if you've seen Age of Sigmar or 40K, the current stuff, um why are there no like data cards or reference sheets that are sold to people where all of your rules are so condensed and in one spot that you can see them instead of flipping through multiple books and then remembering every rule, right? Like that has to put people off from playing. Like you don't even need to make the game easier. 4x5 or 5x4 to charge into battle. Yeah, exactly. You got to do what you got to do. It's all about that combat resolution. Cannot lose combat res. Yeah. I mean, I've played the strategy battle game, but like this was years ago. Um, I'm gonna maybe have my girlfriend make me some dwarf cards, and then maybe I can share them with people because I had seen in a Facebook group a guy ended up making playing cards that had all of the runes on them, and it was so sick. Except the artwork was like AI or something. It looked a bit funky. But it's just convenience, man. It's so convenient to just walk into a game, throw down a bunch of cards. You're like, okay, this unit has these runes. These are the rules, so on and so forth, right? Like for me, remembering everything is a problem. I've always had that issue when playing games, so I kind of have, typed up cheat sheets and all that crap just to remember this, and this. And for a company that's very involved in terms of getting everyone on board to play something, it's weird how they wouldn't do that for the old world, considering it's a brand new, well, not brand new, but like it's a big game that everyone wants to at least look into playing, you know? Like, the Horus Heresy, I suppose, doesn't have cards, but, like, it's more for a cultured audience, I suppose. You know, guys who like the narrative and are super deep into 40K. And I guess that's kind of how they view Old World as well. It's like, who cares about the Old World but a bunch of boomers, you know, who used to play it, compared to, like, what we have now with Age of Sigmar, which everything is, like, simplified. Because it's not even like, you know, some people would say, oh my god, why are you bringing in data cards to the Old World? You're making it so accessible. How stupid do you have to be? But it's like, dude, you get to walk in, play a game 10 times easier, but, like, the game isn't easier. It's just you get to remember everything. You know, it's the convenience of having it. I use the 40K app with the data sheets when I play. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. If you played enough games, you'll eventually remember everything, and that's great. But, like, who has time to play 40K games nonstop? Who has time to play Old World games nonstop? Right? That's not really a real thing for most people. But yeah, I would throw money down for the Dwarven stuff, like cheat sheet data cards. I'd love that. Otherwise, like I said, I'd probably have my girlfriend make me summon, like, Krita or some online app or something. I don't know. Like Photoshop. And it's more money for GW. Like, let's not get it twisted. Games Workshop loves their money. Who doesn't? And, yeah. Did you get the White Dwarf 500 shit? Grombrindle is so busted. Everyone's shocked. No, I didn't. I don't think I'm even going to be able to play a game of AOS. Unfortunately. Pretty sure with most things, like, in a White Dwarf, they're probably going to be good, you know, because everyone has to now go out and buy the magazine for the rules. And he is Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, so, like, he better be busted. You can't have a literal demigod be not busted. No, he doesn't. He's not in the old world. No. He had a profile for fantasy, which came in a White Dwarf, and he was, like, mad expensive with, like, ridiculous stats, obviously. Who said Thorgrim has a stat line in the old world? Hold up. Where'd you get that information? We know Ungrim will. What about Thorgrim? Because if that's the other familiar face, no. It would be, well, okay. So the Arcane Journal that's coming out will have the updated profiles of, like, the units that are yet to be seen. They did say during Adepticon that Ungrim wasn't the only familiar face the dwarves have. What I'm going to say, fuck Thorgrim. Thorgrim should not be in the book. Do not bring him back. Not to mention, at that point, I don't think he's even, like, he'd just be like a lesser fighting character. You know, he's not really anything in particular. He's not an engineer. He's not like a slayer. He's not anything specific that matters. Not yet in lore, right? With him becoming High King and stuff like that, sure. They need to bring in, which they probably will, I think, Damiz Burluxon, Grim Burluxon's father, the old engineer lord, or character, I should say. That's who they should bring in. Because if you've got a Slayer army, a very melee-centric, in-your-face beat-em-up, what are the dwarves, other than that, good at? Rune magic and shooting you to death. So it would make sense to bring in him and have him lead like a giant engineer throng into battle with like buffed up thunderers, kind of like what his son had. I'm going to wait for a big update or next edition of Old World because I hate Hero Hammer. Yeah, you do spend a lot of points on heroes. I just like the characters, and I like seeing dwarves on the battlefield. I'm not too salty over kind of like gameplay as I used to be. But if it's unfun, I mean, don't play it, right? Hopefully it does get better. I think right now my time is so consumed with like building stuff that I'm not even able to play a game unless it's on like Warhol or something or Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, there's no named character. I'm pretty sure in the main Forces of Fantasy there are no named characters. Unless I'm wrong. It's usually in the Arcane Journal that gives them the named characters. Vampire Wars around that point. I mean, that would be cool. Yeah, and you would have your old characters back, right? Like, you know, you wouldn't really get too many new ones, I would assume. For the Orcs and Goblins, they did nothing with them. I'm kind of upset because, like, I grew up playing Orcs and Goblins, and I would always play, like, you know, Grimgor and Gorbat or Azag, you know, fucking a quarter of your army's gone, but they're cool. And it was really disappointing to see literal nobodies for the Orcs and Goblins, but then again, like, I'm not sure how long Orcs are lived, so Vlad and Isabella, that's it. Well, I mean, people, that would be fine. That's cool. It's cool to see familiar faces. You know, this game isn't for like, I mean, it sounds gatekeepy, but like Old World realistically is for the old folks, right? Like grandpa, get out of bed, you know, wake up from your coma. It's time to play Old World like you did in 62. You know, it's cool to see new people get into it because that's awesome, but it's very tailored around like original older minis and, you know, Warhammer Fantasy, right? Which is not a new system. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go, folks. I actually do have to leave. It's getting late for me, and I need to wake up and do a bunch of stuff. Your animal, yeah, exactly. I mean, it is cool. Again, like if people want to get into Old World, that's fucking awesome because the more the merrier. Whatever you do, you don't want a game to fail. But it really isn't like beginner friendly, unfortunately. But also, I guess, fortunately. But I just like the setting, man, more than anything. Anyways, I'm out of here, folks. Take care. Be well. Stay safe. I will see you all tomorrow, maybe on the main channel or here. Learning curve at first, but it gets better. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's more of a specialist type of, like, sit down and kind of read the rules multiple times instead of, here's 2 pages of rules, go have fun, go play a game. And there's nothing wrong with that because, like, you know, people like different things, and sometimes it's simplicity or how complex something is. And if there's something for everyone, that's great. But yes, I do have to go. Take care. Be well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.